And we're ready whenever you are, Mayor.
Good evening, and thank you for attending tonight's city council meeting. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Skelly,
Here.
Counselor Dilaba, Counselor Fisher.
Here.
Counselor Kennedy. Here. Counselor Powers. Counselor Reish. Counselor Scamperly.
Here.
Quorum present.
Tonight, we have our consent agenda. The claims is enumerated in general fund warrant number 22-2022 in the amount of $137,503.42. And library warrant number 22-2022 in the amount of $0. And capital fund warrant number 22-2022 in the amount of, the big one, $2,668,358.91. And community development fund warrant number 22-2022 in the amount of $0. And community renewal fund warrant number 22-2022 in the amount of $0. As audited, be and the same hereby are ordered paid. I so move.
Second.
Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Skelly,
Yes.
Counselor Fisher,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy,
Yes.
Counselor Scamperly.
Yes.
Approved.
Before we adjourn the meeting, I would like to remind the public attending remotely that we will be immediately begin budget work session next, the budget work session next. And if you wish to attend the budget work session, please do not disconnect from the webinar. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.
So the budget work sessions are scheduled to begin at 6. We did finish a little early. The first group up is the chamber, and I don't see them here. So I don't know if we should probably wait until 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Probably.
I see Barb here, probably beautification.
I know, but I feel like I don't want the public to get all screwed up.
Okay,
All right.
that's fine. We can wait.
The budget work session was initially announced solely to start at 6 o'clock. So there may be some people who
That's fine.
won't log in until 6
No, that's fine.
or just
Oh,
before.
it's just so fast.
Well, I will say, thank you for coming in to do that. It will enable us to get those bills paid.
Yeah.
Consent agenda.
I imagine that one person with the 2 million is very happy.
Well, it's 2. It's actually, there are 2 payees for that amount, but they are the contractors doing work for the city's ready projects, the 2 different ready projects. So I'm sure both of those contractors will be very grateful.
Yeah, it looked like they were doing something in the water down there today.
They are gearing up to do a concrete pour tomorrow.
I said they were like, looked like they were all down the one corner, like, and there was like lights in the river and everything like that today. I was picking up the baby at school. I saw it. I was like, oh geez.
Where's that?
Down,
Right in
in the park.
the park. And
What's that?
yeah, they I like drove down there. They had like
I do.
a bunch of people over in the corner. I was like, oh, they're not wasting any time when they said it was urgent and they were really didn't want to get delayed.
Well, they'll be doing driving sheet starting next week, I guess.
There's
Drink.
holding on just enough.
Yep, they're really making the most of the.
It's a live feed.
Yeah.
Throw that. The tail of your coat. It's the glass. See that at my house? I'm trying to do away with those glasses like that. Those. And
All right. If I don't see you, have a good night.
every time I
Hi, Kathy.
have a good night.
Oh, oh.
She may not be coming back here, but she's not leaving.
Dinner, you know, like, she spills. So I always think, not to the bank, it's your cat, it's your foot. And doesn't, and wrap it, you know, spill.
Just so you know. Ginger.
See a lot of Christmas decorations. Except for March.
This is from the garden club. I'm sorry, it's not in order, but they come after the chamber. And I'm happy to do a brief introduction and set the stage with everybody, like 15 minutes. Won't have a timer, because as you can see, we've got a pretty lengthy agenda. So
Yeah.
tried to prep everybody in advance that they won't be allowed more than their 15 minutes.
So Deb's gone, so I got somehow that big jack. It's hard being single.
I'm sure, yeah, I can't actually imagine.
Part of it.
All right, thank you. Aren't they always? No. Trust me on that one.
This is for the garden. They should have got in your packet. They come after the chamber. Everything is in order.
Oh my God. Hmm?
I'm sure.
So this is the end of the workshops, right? This is it. Oh, except, oh, we still got. We got to figure out water and sewer. That's, water's easy. Sewer. $738,000. 600 would be the number you're looking for. But there's no reason.
Broke mine once.
Yeah. Just the end of it. Too significant increases, 3% after that. That's really just-
Those things worse than we're up to. Yeah, it is. See what it has to.
So it's just the four of us? Five of us? No, I said, no, I said, well, we only got five people. We got Mr. Bill and Mr. Bill's not doing good at all. Oh, there's a bad bug floating around that's not good, but that's not gonna be below for weeks. So it's, I mean, it's the time it happens. Before you get ready, Christmas is coming. All inside, no coat, top, hat. Bringing it home. Well, you got a litter of enough.
No.
Mom watched that, but I know my.
We got 6.
Mayor, do you want to get started?
Sure.
It's just about 6 o'clock, so we will get started with tonight's budget work session. This is budget work session number 5. The focus of the work session this evening is on outside agencies. So we have many agencies with us this evening. If you haven't kind of grabbed an agenda, there are agendas at the back, and you'll see that the schedule is pretty full. So we will be sticking to the 15 minutes that each of you have been informed of in advance. I'm going to apologize in advance, but I do have a timer and there will be a hard stop at 15 minutes. I will be the bad guy tonight because if I don't keep to that, we'll be here till 10 o'clock. So thank you all for being considerate of others and of the time that we have allotted for you. We look forward to hearing from you. I also just wanted to preface this work session by letting everybody know that if you have not had an opportunity to review the preliminary budget that the council has currently adopted, I would encourage you to do so. There is no funding allocated at this point in time for outside agencies, and there are recommended reductions to city personnel. So please do take that into consideration when you're preparing your comments. So with that, thank you all for coming this evening, and we're going to get started with the Ogdensburg Chamber of Commerce. For those that are attending remotely, there are handouts provided by a few of these agencies, and there are 2 that are provided in the handout section by the chamber. So we have Laura Pearson and Ben Dixon from the Ogdensburg Chamber.
Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for inviting us here tonight. I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council members and Andrea for letting us speak. I just wanted to give you an update of the plans that we have for 2023. I was going to ask for $7,500. Apparently that's not going to be good anyway, so I'm going to throw it out there. We did not receive any funding in 2022. We did receive $7,500 in 2021. So I'm going to go with my plan here. The year ahead holds great promise for the Greater Ogdensburg and St. Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce to support and promote the City of Ogdensburg even further. With the partnership and financial support of the City of Ogdensburg, the Ogdensburg Chamber and St. Lawrence County Chamber shall endeavor to fulfill its agreement with the city by partnering with city departments, local organizations, and chambers to promote Ogdensburg, growing our signature events that bring people to Ogdensburg, such as the Polar Bear Dip, citywide garage sales, barbecue, Old River Fest, and partnering with the organizations to create a new event for the year. Continuing our many community events and projects such as Shop Local campaigns, assisting with workforce development with the St. Lawrence County Chamber. Partnering with other community organizations to help organize standard and new events and projects that unite the community and foster neighborhood pride. Soliciting new members of our business community and to celebrate when new businesses come to Ogdensburg with grand opening and ribbon cuttings, inviting City Hall and the media. Working closely with Brooke Rouse, Director of Tourism for the St. Lawrence County Chamber, to promote our city and the surrounding area by engaging leaders from our local attractions, Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority, and city government. Expanding our Chamber Dollars program, which promotes shopping locally, keeping our sales tax dollars here in the city, sharing more information about the Chamber Dollars program with our members, and getting more businesses to participate. Continuing our partnership with city government, local business, and agencies to help make our city a more desirable place to do business, live, and to visit. Working with the St. Lawrence County Chamber to develop informational articles and webinars to help our members with marketing efforts, personnel issues, growing their businesses, and financial concerns. Working with the St. Lawrence County Chamber to expand networking opportunities for our members. Working with ANCA, SBDC, the IDA, and other organizations to help small businesses, startups, and our members expand their businesses. Promoting Ogdensburg as a safe, clean city for families to visit or relocate to. We mail out relocation packets and provide local real estate agents with packets for clients. Working with the Fort Lee Presentation Committee to promote the reenactments, Founders Weekend, and support their fundraising efforts. Writing letters of support to various organizations to support their grant writing. Promoting local events and workshops on our Facebook page, calendar events, and on our e-blasts. Promoting partnerships and cooperation among local service clubs and organizations to share resources and assist in the promotion of Ogdensburg. Representing the city in a positive and helpful manner to all our visitors and our guests. Participating participating in career fairs with local businesses looking to hire employees, advancing our workforce development project, working with BOCES and other organizations to provide information to connect employers with qualified potential employees. Continuing our annual dinner, awarding Citizen of the Year, Business Improvement and Outstanding Community Service Awards, working with the St. Lawrence County Chamber on the merger to pool our resources to increase training opportunities for our members, share our advertising opportunities, and work together to bring revenues to St. Lawrence County. Working with the Seaway Festival Committee to promote the event to our visitors and as an information resource for the community. Researching ways to increase our benefits to our members and increase our membership base. Promoting Ogdensburg and our beautiful St. Lawrence River to visitors and community members alike. Working with local service clubs to share information and promote their events and fundraising efforts. Working closely with Canadian entities to promote cross-border collaboration and sharing of information and invitations to events. Expanding our marketing and advertising to Canada, Franklin County, and Jefferson County. We've developed a save the date ad that lists our yearly events and places them in publications in the area, trying to encourage people to clip them out and have them as a handy reference available. Helping local organizations develop press releases so they can promote their events and their dedication to the community. St. John's Church, the New Testament Church, Friends of the Library, etc. Continuing the business of the quarter to chamber members, award to chamber members who have improved their business, thereby enhancing community, has growth in sales, square footage, employment levels, and/or growth in the products or services offered, and excellent customer service. And with that, I'm going to turn my 15 minutes over, the rest of my 15 minutes over to Ben to talk about the merger. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, council members, for having us here. Given that we are still looking to do a integration of the St. Lawrence County, Ogdensburg, Messina, and Canton Chambers of Commerce in 2023, it makes sense for me to follow Laura's plans, description of the plans for 2023 with an update on the merger. I would like to follow on Laura's comments by noting our support for a request to the council. It's an important note while we recognize that the council has a difficult task ahead in balancing the budget and having to cut personnel and so forth. We would like to note the importance of the work of the chambers in promoting the city, and in the case of any request, that would be really, I see it as an investment that would have a return. As you're all, working to enhance the business community here in Ogdensburg and increase sales and commerce and collect sales tax, you're going to need that partner on the ground to work with the businesses. And so therefore, funding support to the chamber would of course be a investment in that growth of sales tax and financial growth of the city. So with that, a little update on the integration. As you know, we did provide an update document that hits on the next steps, the activities that would be undertaken to benefit the city upon the integration, the benefits of a merged chamber, and some history background. So I won't belabor that. I'll just hit on some salient points to keep everyone updated. Firstly, I'll note the legal merger is still in process, but it will not occur until sometime in 2023. In the case of a merger, which is likely to occur in early 2023, the funding would still, any funding to the Ogdensburg Chamber would still be needed to provide the Ogdensburg specific programming and services that are detailed in the request Laura provided. And the integrated chamber would simply take on any contract for services that you were to engage in with the Ogdensburg Chamber. So we'd still deliver those services and have focused staff member and more robust chamber. Basically, in terms of the status of the merger, we are waiting on the governance documents from the attorneys that we're working with at the New York Council for Nonprofits. Those would be the resolution of recommendation of merger, the revised bylaws for the new entity, and the membership vote. Once we have that, that's really that's the big crux, next step for us in the merger. Once we've had that, we can really proceed efficiently and quickly through the rest of the merger process, which would really just entail votes of the boards of those chambers and an information session and vote by the membership of the chambers, at which point it's just a matter, once we've got that, then we can submit the legal documents to the Department of State to make the merger official. So the big piece is to get that governance documentation from from Nikon. I did want to just remind the council of some important elements of how the community of Ogdensburg would continue to be served. We believe that actually integrating will bring more benefit and more chamber strength to the city because of the nature of the integration and how it'll be done. I'd firstly note that there will be an individual that's a full-time individual of the chamber, in this case Laura, would be dedicated on still continue to be dedicated on a half-time basis, which is what she already is, to working specifically on Ogdensburg focused activities and programming, working with the business community, trying to strengthen the businesses. And then the other half time would be spent on working on things that benefit both Ogdensburg and the county on the whole. In this case, she's already doing that with us with the work she's doing in workforce development, which I'm sure I don't need to discuss with you the demands that businesses have in that arena. So it's already we're already working in that way. And an important thing to note on that is that she is in Ogdensburg full-time, even when she becomes a member of the integrated chamber, a full-time member, she'll still be located full-time here in the city with an office and visitor center here so that she can be nimble and responsive to the needs of the businesses here in the community. So that's a very important aspect of the merger. We would have bank accounts established specifically for Ogdensburg-based activities, including any kind of municipal contract that's made so that the monies stay focused on Ogdensburg work. And the nice thing about this merger is that we would have multiple staff members being able to apply specialties to enhance the reach and impact of the chamber towards the city's businesses and business community, doing business development training and marketing and promotion. And the administrative burdens that Laura has to deal with now already, if keeping the books, membership renewals, legal filings, all of those things that any business owner has to do, that would all come in-house to the integrated chamber, which would free up more of Laura's time to do that on-the-ground programming. So that's where a great amount of benefit comes from such a merger. So I'm going to keep it to that. There are a lot more benefits detailed in the document I gave you, but I just wanted to give you a feel for, kind of a reminder of what the merger would entail, how it would benefit the city, and kind of where we stand with the whole thing, and why the request that's coming to the council from the Ogdensburg Chamber of Commerce is still of great import, even though a merger is on the horizon. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions of either Laura or I, please don't hesitate to give us a shout.
Thank
you.
both.
Finished with 1 minute and 51 seconds.
You rehearsed that in the mirror, didn't you? rehearsed it in the mirror to get your timing down.
So we do have time if there are a couple questions from council, or we can move on to the.
Can you supply us with a budget from the county chamber?
For,
Operations, annual operations?
yeah, we can do that, sure. We are currently actually in the process of finalizing our chamber budget for 2023 and our board meetings tomorrow morning. So I can provide that. Obviously, integration would have a significant impact on our budget. So, we can do that. We are a nonprofit, as you know, and it's a tight, always right to the wire as a nonprofit. We're a nonprofit, we're good at it.
I think building Ogdensburg is key to growing and having something. And I think the county chamber probably has a little bit more funding already, and, between advertisement, things like that.
We have,
I think would be
specifically
advantageous.
a large tourism and promotion budget with support from both the county and the state that we can apply to the work that the Ogdensburg Chamber does upon integration, and obviously matters of scale, certainly would impact our ability to help the business community in the city. So, I'd be happy to provide a budget that shows, the extent of what we can bring to the table.
Sure, excellent, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks again.
Next up, we have Lynn Griffin from the Garden Club, and everybody should have the budget that she provided to.
Good evening, Andrea, Mayor and Council.
Amen.
First of all, I think I can be very brief and keep you on your schedule with no problem. I'm here once again to thank you for the many years of support that you've given the Ogdensburg Garden Club, and also tonight to offer a special thanks that in this time of financial distress, you have still seen fit to invite us all before you to let you know what we do, how we enhance the city, and to submit a request for support for your consideration. The Ogdensburg Garden Club has been active in this community since 1925. We are fast approaching 100 years. I certainly hope we make it to see and celebrate that amazing milestone. As you know, we plant and care for 4 major gardens in the city: the Arterial by the Old United Helpers, Library Park, which includes 2 large gardens, the gazebo, and in front of the library, Kids Place at the Remington Museum, and the Agrawal Garden on the riverbank by the Dubisky Center. We also provide 40 hanging baskets and 4 complimentary planters. Each summer, those planters, 2 are placed in front of the post office and 2 in front of City Hall. We also provide a couple of smaller gardens on outer Ford Street and the Veterans Park there. You have helped make all this possible, and we hope that you can continue your support for 2023. Next year, as for past years, the help we need the most, and in fact is crucial to us, is the watering and caring for the hanging baskets and planters, as well as the gazebo plantings. I don't know if you're aware, but the gazebo used to have a water source, and it has not been functional for quite a number of years now. So we don't have water down there. Last summer, and I believe the summer before, the DPW agreed when they were watering our baskets to do that as well. We realize that asking the Department of Public Works to take on this responsibility is adding a burden to them. It's a burden that they took back for us either 2 or 3 years ago when we were looking for somebody to do this for us after Bastas went out of business, and we found no one. So with your help, we were able to have the DPW get back into the picture, and we greatly, greatly appreciate their support. They've been wonderful to work with. They put the baskets up, they take care of them, they take them down for us and store them over the winter. You have our budget, as Andrea said, so you know that we're asking in that budget for $2,000, which is what we have most recently received. I spoke with you on November 28th briefly too, and said then that, of course, we will look at our preliminary budget and redo as we need to if this is not at all possible. That the one thing we need is the watering of the baskets if we're able to have them. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I love all the things you do. It really helps the city look more beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for your consideration.
Who maintains the flowers around the visitor center?
The city.
The recreation staff and DPW.
Thanks again.
So we're a little ahead of schedule. Do we have Barbara Adams from CDP here? So next up would be the Ogdensburg Command Performance. They're quite a ways out. So we also have the Frederick Remington Art Museum, and I do see representatives from that organization. So do you all want to jump ahead of schedule and come up and speak now? Great. So for anybody attending remotely, the Frederick Remington Art Museum also did provide a handout that is available for those participating remotely. You can view that by clicking on the hyperlink in the handout section.
Good evening. We're pleased to return to the annual tradition of reporting to the council about the museum's year. I'm sure some of you have heard the history before, but briefly, founded as the Remington Art Museum in 1923 by the Ogdensburg Public Library, the museum became the Frederick Remington Art Museum with its own board of trustees and gained status as a not-for-profit 501c3 in 1981. The museum was also granted an absolute charter as a New York State Art Museum in the early 1980s by the New York State Education Department. The museum is among the approximately 1,000 of the 35,000 museums in the U.S. to be fully accredited by the American Association of Museums. The FRAM expands and deepens appreciation and understanding of Frederick Remington's work by engaging contemporary audiences and keeping his legacy relevant. The museum is dedicated to collecting, exhibiting, preserving, and interpreting the art and archives of Remington and contains an unmatched collection of his works. While most people think of Remington as a Western artist, and indeed he is in great measure responsible for creating the modern day image of the American West, the FRAM represents Remington as a North Country artist, emphasizing his ties to our area and how Ogdensburg, the St. Lawrence River, and the Adirondacks were a source to him of artistic inspiration. There are 5,000 items in the collection, including 22 major oil paintings, 17 bronzes, hundreds of works on paper, watercolors, studies, sketches, journals, letters, and personal effects. The majority of the collection belongs to the Ogdensburg Public Library, which I'm sure surprises some people, and is on long-term loan to and managed by the museum for the past 41 years. It remains a goal of the museum to eventually hold title to the collection. The museum owns our campus outright, including the land and the 3 adjacent historic buildings on the south side of the 300 block of Washington. The campus includes the Parish Mansion, Newell Wing, housing the museum and galleries, the administration building, which contains administrative offices, and the Eva Caton Remington Education Center, which includes a classroom, a guest suite for visiting scholars, and offices. We are governed by a volunteer board of trustees, currently 10 members, made up of community leaders with connections in Ogdensburg, St. Lawrence County, the North Country region, and beyond. The board meets monthly. Members serve on committees that work with staff executing the business of the board and the museum. The museum is also supported by a foundation governed by its own board, which oversees and manages the museum's investments and assets. Current staff consists of 6 full-time and about a dozen part-time employees. We are open 12 months a year, 7 days a week during the summer and 5 days a week during the winter. We are closed on only 4 federal holidays. In summary, we are open to the public 308 days a year, or stated another way, open to the public on 85% of the days of the year. A few other important points about the museum. The city has supported the museum for nearly 100 years, starting with $7,500 pledged by a city official at the opening ceremonies in 1923. In 2022 dollars, that amounts to $132,000. Through 2018, the city was still matching that amount. As recently as 2021, city support of the museum totaled $77,000. The museum is an integral part of the infrastructure of the city and the county. We think of infrastructure as utilities, streets, roads, and so on, but it's much more. The museum is not just a few interesting historic buildings on Washington Street. We serve hundreds of school children every year, not just from the city and the county, but from beyond. On one occasion this fall, we hosted 25 exchange students from France who toured the museum and had a seminar at the Eva Caton Education Center with a staff member. We also serve many senior citizens as visitors who also attend special events, and in turn they assist the museum as volunteers and docents. In return for the city's generous support over the past 99 years, we have for decades admitted citizens of Ogdensburg to the museum at no charge. In recognition of the traditional support of the museum by the city and residents of the city. We are the leading tourism attraction developer and agency in the city and beyond, and regularly attract visitors from all 50 states, most Canadian provinces, and from many other countries. Many museum visitors often dine or stay over or revisit Ogdensburg as a result of stopping at the museum. We also interact with many well-known museums in both the US and Canada. We currently have Remington's work hanging on the walls of museums in Miami and Tampa, Florida, in Fort Worth, Texas, and scheduled for Denver, Colorado, and Daytona Beach, Florida. The name Ogdensburg, New York is visible on the artwork in many locations. 2022 has been a year of challenge and significant growth. Here are some of what your support enabled us to do in 2022. I hope you'll agree that these programs and activities demonstrate the museum's strong commitment to the city of Ogdensburg. In July, artist in residence Yomaine Silva O'Neill curated a new Remington exhibit, Remington's Mark, currently still on display. She taught hands-on art making, delivered 2 thought-provoking lectures, and interacted meaningful with visitors. Through her residency, the Miami-based sculptor drew out powerful connections between the Remington collection and artistic processes, and offered new perspective on Remington's work. In 2022, the museum deepened its commitment to providing high-quality arts education to the next generation. We hosted hundreds of students from regional schools, not to mention our annual visit by the French students, expanding our homeschool art program to a twice-a-month format and partnering for the first time with the city of Ogdensburg to offer a summer art camp for young people. In the months ahead, we will be adding 3 significant new artworks by Sally James Farnham to the permanent exhibit of her work called Beauty and Strength, the life and work of American sculptor Sally James Farnham. Each of the new works helps us better tell the story of this important artist and her connections to Frederick Remington, Ogdensburg, and the North Country. With year-round events such as our Nights at the Museum, the Wild West Barbecue, the Wine, Beer, Cheese, Chocolate, and Artisan Festival, co-hosting the Tall Ships this summer, the Remington Haunting, the Holiday Open House, which is this Saturday coming. The Frederick Remington Art Museum aims to be a friendly, welcoming place, giving back to the community and building relationships that last over the years. To advance its mission, we recently adopted a new diversity, equity, access, and inclusion plan, as many museums and other institutions around the country are doing. It aims to seek and share a broader array of perspectives on Remington's work, find new and better ways to welcome and engage current and prospective audiences, especially eliminate barriers to access and participation for historically underrepresented groups, and invest in inclusive practices at the organizational level. I provided you with some statistics. We on average during the past 10 years, we have employed 18 people, paying almost $500,000 a year in salaries and benefits. We spend $88,000 a year annually on goods and services in our community. Museum spends $52,000 annually on its buildings and land, including paying a average $9,000 pilot on the education center. The museum collects an average of about $5,000 a year in sales tax. We averaged 11,000 visitors a year during the past 10 years, with 1 year as high as 15,000. Last year, we saw 5,000 visitors, and this year, as of today, we have seen 6,300 visitors. So you can see that the impact of the past few years is still being felt. Almost 5,000 children on average pass through the museum each year for children's programs, and 50% of those are from Ogdensburg. As we look ahead to 2023 and the centennial celebration of the founding of the museum, we think about the wisdom and foresight of Remington's widow, Eva Remington, who was determined that her husband's work should have a permanent public home in Ogdensburg, dedicated to keeping his artistic legacy alive. She left it to the people of Ogdensburg over institutions like the Smithsonian and other well-known museums. Like Eva, we trust in the power of Remington's work to communicate through time, to inspire meaningful conversations, and to be a catalyst for human connection, understanding, and growth. But like Eva, we know too that the preservation, cultivation, and deepening of Remington's artistic and cultural legacy requires resources. 2022 was the first year in 100 years in which the Remington Museum has operated in complete administrative independence of the city. We consider this a major accomplishment in the life of the museum. But for the first time since its founding in 1923, the museum did not receive any funding from the city of Ogdensburg, despite several verbal pledges to make a culture and tourism grant to the museum. These commitments were not honored by the city in 2022 or for next year in the city's budget. Although city funding for the museum has been decreasing for many years, this abrupt and total termination of municipal support was completely unanticipated and has presented a massive challenge to the museum's financial stability. We look forward to the day when we can work together and a time when the city will be in a position to once again support its most important and best known tourist destination. The city's support of local cultural institutions, including the well-being of the museum, is a vital part of the future of our city and region. Such support will allow the museum to continue its upward trajectory as we enter our centennial year. All support, whether fiscal or in kind, helps keep the museum's outstanding exhibitions, programs, and community events operating. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the staff, thank you for listening. Thank you for your consideration, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Doug.
Happy holidays as well.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Barbara Adams from CDP with us yet? Well, I do see Ogdensburg Command Performance at the back. Sally Plow, you, if you're prepared, you can go a little bit early. Yep, come on down.
Hi, Sal.
Yep. I did state at the beginning of the meeting, I know you weren't here, that we are sticking very strictly to a 15-minute timeline, so you can just be cognizant of that. That would be great. Thanks.
I've just passed to the council a copy of our youth theater brochure and our season brochure. And I'm leaving some in the back if there are any people here in the audience that would like to have one. The city of Ogdensburg has supported Ogdensburg Command Performances since 1998. And that amount, that accounts for thousands of dollars that they've seen fit to share with us. Tonight, I'm not going to ask you for any specific amount of money. I'm hopeful that you may find it in your heart to, if you have some left over, that you would be willing to share it with us. We're certainly aware of your position with your deficit and with inflation, so we don't want to add to that. OCP has been weathered a lot of things. There have been 2 or 3 times that we were on the verge of bankruptcy. We managed to weather the pandemic and came out of that hole. We have had to cut down on our programming a little bit until we wait and see what the public, how they receive what we're doing now, so that we have 6 evening shows and we have 9 youth theater shows. We reach over 8,000 students from every school district in St. Lawrence County. Every study shows that children that are exposed to the arts do better in life. So it's an important thing that we're able to continue with that. As far as our evening series, we reach about 5,000 people. People in New York City, when I go there for conferences, are amazed that a community this size can support 2 programs of this caliber. We couldn't do it without the 44 volunteers that we have. We do everything that we can to keep our expenses as low as possible. And as I said, if it wasn't for the 44 volunteers, we wouldn't be in existence today. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask me?
We have an amazing organization. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for what you do in this community.
Well, that's very kind of you to say, but it's very true. The people that are the volunteers in this organization, you can't believe the time and the efforts that they put forth for the community. We impact the economic health of the community because when the companies come into town, all the actors and the technical crew shop here. And all the people that come to our shows shop. When they're out, they figure, well, I might as well do some shopping. And that's with the youth theater series and the evening series. So we do have an economic impact on the area. And that again is because of the time that the volunteers are willing to put in and to keep this program alive.
Thank you, Sally.
Okay, no questions?
You definitely make a difference.
Thank you. We'd like to think we do. Thank you.
Everybody's doing so well keeping to your time tonight, which is very unanticipated, I will admit. So, well, next we would ordinarily, so again, I don't see anybody new, so I'm guessing that Barbara Adams is still not with us. I don't know Barbara, so I'm sorry. And I don't see Julie Medlin, but I do know that we have Barb Barlow from Pride and Beautification. So just a preface, I know I stated at the outset that no outside organizations were funded in the preliminary budget. Pride and Beautification is a commission of the city of Ogdensburg. They are in your budget for $2,000 on page F4. I think I will confirm that for you. And so I just wanted to make sure that I was F4, make sure that I clearly articulated that. There are a couple commissions that are also before the board tonight. Pride and Beautification is one of them. So if you're ready, Barb, you can come on up.
God, I feel like I'm auditioning for the America's Got Talent. It's either going to go very, very good or very, very bad.
We don't have like a button or anything. so-
Nothing?
No, nothing
goody.
exciting. I wish I had one.
Just Andrew's got that 15-minute
I feel
button.
like I don't even need it now. We're doing so well.
Good evening. My name is Barb Barlow, and I am representing the Pride and Beautification Commission for the City of Ogdensburg. Since we are commissioned by the city to improve the aesthetic quality of the city, we are asking for $5,000. For years, we have been given $2,000, except for 1 year, we received $4,000. We do feel kind of embarrassed asking for money for beautification projects when it's possible that some people may lose their jobs. However, we have to achieve beautification projects in order to follow our bylaws. I would like to mention that Shane Brown from DPW has been so accommodating. They do all of our projects, just to mention a few. They put up and take down our Hometown Hero banners, our Snowflake banners, our Welcome to the River banners. They maintain the Ford Vault. They assemble all of our massive Christmas decorations, plus our new 25-foot pixel tree. So if you haven't seen it, take a trip down by the pool because it's quite impressive. It's set to music. So far for us, it's like a catch-22. We do all the fundraising to be able to buy all of these items, but we may not have the personnel at the DPW to bring it to fruition. I can't convey enough how great these men have been to the Pride and Beautification. We have put a lot of time and effort fundraising in order to purchase these displays. Our commercial display is $5,000 just to buy one. So your $2,000 does not begin to cover our expenses for even one display. We would like to use the money to expand our decorating and maintain our current displays so that we could have what you call like a hallmark moment in December of 2023. I'm sure you've read in the paper like what Morristown is doing, and we kind of would like to follow in their footsteps with, you know, vendors, wagon rides, Santa, food, to see if we can bring more people into our venue. So we would appreciate anything you could do for us. Anything?
No, thank you, Barb. I
No,
mean-
this is where the applause comes now. For
Oh.
She said no button.
I know.
No, you guys do beautiful work in the city. Great work.
And my
Thank you.
kids love the pixel tree. You drive down at least a couple times a week and they have to roll down the windows and pull off to the side.
Just
so
got a
they
little
can listen
tweak
to
we
it.
got to do for the music, but other than that, It's really beautiful. And that was a lot of fundraising. I shouldn't say that because I guess we weren't supposed to fundraise back then, but we did it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
I feel like this might be the opportunity for everybody to take a 5-minute break. And we can give Julie a call to see if she can come a little earlier because we are a bit ahead of schedule.
The snack pack.
Snack Pack is not able to come tonight. They did provide a handout for you. And I will also say that Forsyth Rifles is not able to come tonight, but they also did provide a letter. Forsyth Rifles is requesting $100 from the council.
I think, so, look here, there's really only one left or not?
I'm sorry?
There's really only one left?
We are waiting to hear from the Historic Commission. Julie Madland, who is the city historian, will be presenting on behalf of the Historic Commission. Seaway Festival, Chris Lalone will be attending, and he is at presently the library board meeting. So I know he wasn't really able to get here early. We haven't heard from CDP, although their time has actually passed. I will say St. Lawrence County Community Development Program historically has been in the budget for $10,000 in support of the food pantry and neighborhood center. It is not in the budget at this time.
But they were in your preliminary budget, right?
They were in the preliminary budget, so I guess they are in the preliminary budget. They are not in the proposed amendment that would have been presented to you on the 5th. And that is on the second page of the proposed revisions, line A8989.498. There's a deduct of $10,000. This was from your agenda from Monday. Just, we can certainly talk about the preliminary budget while we wait, or you can take a break.
Well, if he's not supposed to be here for another hour, I don't think we can. Right?
His time is 7:45. All of the groups had 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They were scheduled, as you can see. It looks like CDP did not show up, so we have a little bit of a gap there, and Garden Club did not utilize the majority of their time, so we're a bit ahead of schedule.
And we know what the Historic Commission is requesting.
They did provide a packet for you.
What was the amount of their request? 3,800.
38.
They're requesting funding for 2 signs and a raise for the historian.
And snack pack, did they have a dollar amount?
They just sent a handout this afternoon. I printed it for you, but admittedly, I have not read through it. The council just provided Snack Pack with $5,000 through ARPA. I'm not sure that their letter specifies an amount, but it does talk about the costs that they incur and some of their fundraising events that they have scheduled for early 2023.
Excuse me, for those of us that are new, what is Snack Pack?
Snack Pack.
If he didn't say what he was here for.
Yes, Snack Pack is it's an organization that provides weekend meals to students that are possibly in need. Their parents can sign them up. There are bags that are placed in their book bags without other students knowing. They're just placed in their lockers in their book bags, so it's not something that's, you know, toted as it gives the kids a little bit of privacy, and it provides them like weekend breakfast and snack, and usually there's like a drink and things like that. And they're healthy snacks. It's not junk food or anything like that.
Does the Boys and Girls Club get anything through the city?
Historically, the Boys and Girls Club has not received a financial contribution from the city's budget.
in the general rule, when it comes to, I guess you call them outside agencies, is, I mean, we run a
Here's Julie.
government. We tax people and we run a government, right? So I know there's always this discussion every year, but I guess I was just looking to clarify, like, technically you're not really supposed to give outside agencies money because you're a governmental entity and
These agencies have been funded under the economic development section of the city's budget.
so that's how it's treated.
So, I mean, the chamber and the Remington are very good examples, and they did touch on it in their presentation about how they support and assist in economic development activities in the city. So that's typically how they've been handled in the budget in the past. But our core mission as a local government is to provide central services, including fire protection, police, public infrastructure, and we have been able to provide recreation and planning and building code services in the past, which we hope to continue to be able to provide in the future. I do see that our historian, Julie Madlin, has joined us. So if, Julie, we're a bit ahead of schedule. So if you'd like to jump up to the podium, you can give your presentation.
Great. Okay, so the first thing I want to speak about is the city historian budget. And I know I only have 15 minutes, so I'm going to go really quickly.
You can probably take a little bit more time. We are ahead of schedule. So.
Okay, so I have like actually 3 different things I need to talk. I'm wearing 3 different hats tonight. So as city historian, I noticed in the preliminary budget on Friday that my salary had been cut by $4,000. I was not informed of that by the former city manager, so that was a bit of a surprise. And so I submitted a proposed salary and budget to you, and I just kind of wanted to show you what I had done as city historian. And I felt that my salary should be commensurate with what other historians were making in other municipalities, namely Canton and Messina. I kind of looked at population to see what they were making. So I felt that my 4,000 cut should be restored in that budget. And other duties have actually been added to my position as a city historian by the former city manager. I was appointed president of the Ogdensburg Historical Commission, and I also was involved in event planning. I've also written a number of grants for the city, which have been successful. We are part of a national tour for women's suffrage. We have a number of grants through the Pomeroy Foundation. So I've gotten a number of signs, historical signs for the city. I've also done a number of guided tours and signage to go with that. And I've reached out on social media, and we have 7,900 members of the Ogdensburg History Facebook page. Professional development, I've done registered historian certification with my own money and under my own time. I've also been appointed trustee for the State Municipal Historians Group and a co-coordinator for that group as well for our region. And I've also presented throughout the state and in Canada for using technology for giving people more information about history and how to use that. So I felt that cut should be restored. The other hat I'm wearing is the president of the Historical Commission. And our goals for that were to educate the public about Ogdensburg's history. We want to increase tourism and also recognize local historians. And so we haven't had a budget in about 20 years in that commission, and we're finding it very difficult to actually do our job without a budget. We have War of 1812 signs that have been up since the 1980s. Those have reached the end of their life, and we would like to start to replace those signs, not all at once, obviously, but 1 or 2 a year. And so I proposed a budget for that. We also would like to revive the Heritage House program, which was very successful and also would increase tourism to the city. We also want to continue with the Elizabeth Baxter Local Historian Award as well. And so I submitted a budget for that as well. All of this would really increase the number of people coming into Ogdensburg and increase our tourism and economic base. So we're trying to help out with that as well. And then the last one, my third hat, is for the Ogdensburg History Museum. Once again, we want to increase the economic base. We opened this past July, and we currently have 15 exhibits. We have regular hours. We have over 95 memberships with over 117 members since July. We have our own social media platform, and we also cross-promote other museums and cultural institutions like the Horwood Glass Museum, Fort La Presentation, the Ogdensburg Public Library, and the Frederick Remington Art Museum. We would like to launch an advertising program to bring more people into the city. We know that if people come into the city, they're going to eat at our restaurants, they're going to shop, they're going to visit the museum and other cultural institutions. We know that sales tax revenues will increase. We know that Canadian traffic will increase, and that visitors will stay longer, and they're going to spend more money making our retail and restaurant base stronger. So we're proposing a budget for that as well. And I have that all on the PDFs that you guys were given. Any questions? I just threw a lot at you.
You did.
Well, I knew I only had 15 minutes, so I was like, I'm moving.
You do a great job for the city.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. I was a bit shocked at my salary cut. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't.
Without anybody telling me, so.
I don't know if anyone caught that.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't catch it till Friday, so.
I wish we were in a better situation for everyone, you know.
Mhm.
But be very proud of yourself. You got your museum opened up and looks great in there, you know.
Yep.
And sign out front, City Hall. Very nice. So, no, you're doing great, and I just wish we could do more for everyone.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
Thank you.
CDP.
Last call, going once.
All right. I will just pop out and give Mr. Lalone a quick call. Like I said, I know he had a meeting at the library, but let me just give him a quick call and see if he can pop over a little sooner than 45 minutes, because they are really the
Their
last.
request is for $10,000.
No, I don't believe that's correct. I don't believe that they are asking for any funding. I think that Mr. Lalone, as I understand it, is going to ask for support from the city to utilize facilities for hosting fundraising events. And again, like many, relying on DPW and recreation staff for carrying out their events. So if you just give me 2 minutes, I'll give him a quick call and I'll come right back.
These guys. As long as this. I think it's case. See a trailer. Yes. Well, if you look at and the trailer, another 30,000. There's a tree. That doesn't change.
Yeah. I always had
Sorry. That's. So when I went to church, I didn't used to get anything on it. Back in the day, we also did such. Sold for a long time. Chicken. Pizza roll. They have size. I guess he's the
I
last one.
think the preconceived notion that you only have 15 minutes, people were prepared.
How bad?
I will say, I will not be upset if we get done early. My house is ready for this.
Kids don't want to give up their phones. I remember that.
Come on down, Mr. Lalone.
They're supposed to meet you down here. Okay.
I do apologize. We are running significantly ahead of schedule. I mean, I sort of apologize.
How's
Thanks
that
for
another
running
board
over.
meeting?
Yes, I let them know you were attending the library meeting. I appreciate you popping out and jumping over here.
It was a lot of fun, believe me. Okay.
Evening, Chris. How you doing?
Okay, of course, most of you know me. My name's Chris Malone. I'm here representing Seaway Festival tonight. Okay. I don't know if, well, I know a few of you took part of it, but on November 19th, we had a light up the night craft show and fireworks, which I know a few of you were down there watching people fall and things getting stuck and everything else. But it was a great night. I mean, the feedback is just phenomenal. And I want to thank the city for supporting us in doing that. I'm not sure how many seen, I know Mayor, Miss Kennedy was down there, but it was great. I mean, it was something out of a Hallmark card, even watching people fall on their butts, but it was good. And I just want to tell the city, thank you for supporting this. I mean, little things like this count to the community. And when we come together to do this, it's great. It's great. But the Seaway Festival, you know, of course, we know the 2-week period that we do our regular things. But we do other things. And, you know, this year we were talking about last night, we like to do 5 different activities for the city. And when I'm saying activities, these things, to give you an idea, on November 19th, we had crafters come and they said, okay, hey, no one outside, we may stay here. So they got a room at Stone Fence. Then they went down to Buster's and ate. Okay, then they went down to the fireworks, then stopped at Cam's on the way back. Okay, these activities bring people and money to the city. Okay, maybe it's nickel and dimes, whatever, but it's something that we need. Okay, and to do this, we need the city to come together and work as a whole. Because to do this, we not only need you guys, we need Miss Jock, we need Andrea, Miss Smith, sorry. Okay, we need the police, we need the fire department, and we need especially Department of Public Works. I mean, some of these activities only take 1 or 2 people helping us. Other ones take a lot to put the roadblocks up and plowing the roads, thank God. But, you know, that was a freak accident. But we need everybody. I'm not asking you for money. I'm just asking you for support for the Seaway Festival. And for a lot of these people, a lot of these kids, this is the only activity they have. And we're so far north, we can't even bribe a carnival to come up here right now. But the things that we do count. And you would be surprised what it costs just to run these things. I mean, I spend so much time going around trying to get donations and using a lot of my friends. And, you know, sometimes we get help, sometimes we don't, but we manage. And right now, we need your support by giving us manpower. Okay, for allocating time for Department of Public Works, for the police department. I mean, we work better together than apart, but we need the city to support us. And a lot of you grew up with the Seaway Festival. Maybe it's not what it used to be, but it's all we got right now. And, you know, right now we're nervous. We don't know what's going to happen with the park. And after just leaving this one meeting, I mean, it's just a lot of things scare me. But what I'm asking for, once again, is not money, it's just manpower. And what you can spare, we do appreciate. So, Laura Lee Rothel and Chris Cole were supposed to be here. I told them 7:30, and what Chris Cole is going to talk to you about is basically the same thing I did, but is the park going to be ready for Seaway Festival? Okay. Next thing is, are we going to be able to use Library Park? So, but if you can allocate money for, I say, the overtime or whatever, dump runs, we do appreciate it. Whatever you can do for us, we do appreciate. So please take that in consideration. Once again, we don't want the money. If you want to give us some, hey, we'll take it. But we're not asking for money, just manpower.
I think that's an easy one, but I gotta ask you, what's the story with these carnivals? How's that work?
Well, right now the carnivals, okay, I contacted 32 carnivals, all the way down to Virginia, all the way up to Maine. And the major thing, two major things is the price of diesel and they can't get anybody to drive. Tractor trailers and stuff. We got one out of Syracuse, Main Event, and they don't want to come above Watertown. They're the ones that are in the parking lot down at Watertown.
Mm-hmm.
They do not want to come up here because they only have 2 drivers. And we ran into this problem. I mean, we contacted everybody. The one people that we didn't contact was the ones we have down here from Vermont, and they weren't the best.
I mean, they ought to be able to put a price tag on it.
We even tried, well, I gotta say me, I even tried to give them a few extra dollars underneath. No. And I'm gonna be straight up for honest with y'all. We used to have Ontario Amusements. We're trying to work with them now. He made a verbal agreement. If someone cancels, we can have it. We said anytime. I mean, it doesn't have to be during Seaway Festival, but anytime, give these kids something. And he ran into a problem, I gotta say his father did, years back, when they started doing all these checks on the carnies and stuff. And he had a bad experience with one of the police chief. You know, right now, when they come in, we require them to do the background checks. We want their license. We want their pictures of their IDs. You know, we don't want no pedophiles or anything like that. But it was just people clashing heads. We are trying to get carnivals up here. I mean, but right now, I don't know if y'all been to any carnivals. Some of these carnival rides are going for $6 and $7 a piece. I mean, when you buy the tickets. But you know, there's a small group of us. I don't know if you know that. Myself, Laura Lee, Chris Cole, Rhonda, and a few other people. We're trying to do the best we can. And I cannot keep on going back to the same people asking for money. And so we tried different fundraisers. Once again, major fundraiser was the craft show, you know, and plus we also donated part of that money to another facility here in Ogdensburg, okay, because they came and helped us, Remington Museum. They came and helped us because we needed help because we don't get enough volunteers. You know, how many times have y'all seen Chris Cole doing 4 different jobs, or Laura Lee running around. I mean, this, once again, November 19th, the truck down there for the fireworks guy was stuck. So had to get a hold of Ms. Smith and had to get a bucket loader down there to get them out. I mean, it's working together and we can do it. But anyway, any more?
I know the dunk tank went over well this summer.
Yep. Well, okay. That set us back a good chunk of change, but we figured, it was funny.
Yeah,
It was funny.
that was a really good time.
So, but, we're not giving up. We may have to cut back here and there, but we're not giving up
I know, and
because,
being able to support you with things like manpower, it did just the trickle down effect of,
exactly.
where we sit in our budget with, where you're looking at cuts in all of those departments. I know manpower sounds like it's nothing, but when we're looking at cuts to those 3 major departments,
well, that's what
it's very, very, disheartening and sad to think, you know what I mean, that we're
yeah.
looking at,
But to give
something
you-
as simple as manpower, which we may not be able to provide, sadly.
To give you an idea, okay, right now we have 2 prospective dates of doing indoor yard sales. We seen what Watertown was doing,
Mm-hmm.
so we did it. Went over big. I mean, I've never seen so much junk in my lifetime, but they went over again. And people are, are you going to do it again? Are you going to do it again? All we need is 1 person.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's 2 indoor yard sales, 1 person. And we try not to turn on the lights down there because it gets too hot, especially during the Seaway Festival.
Mhm.
Okay. The time that we do need is at the Seaway Festival because we usually have gymnastics and stuff like that. And we need hands rolling up the mats, but then they can split. Okay.
No, I know, it's just,
Oh, I understand.
my family loves it and we love to go, and I've been going since I was a kid, but the cuts that we're looking at in those 3 major departments could have a dramatic effect on what we're able to provide, sadly.
But always remember, we got to take care of our kids. Our kids are. our
I'm
future.
one of the biggest advocates for that. And I support the Seaway Festival, but as we're looking at cuts, I mean, that's realistically where we're at, unfortunately, is all these extra programming and things that we love to provide, but.
Well, how about looking at it this way? If we don't bring people into the city, we can't put people into.
No, I'm 100% like, I support it. I'm just thinking, I'm going back to those major cuts, just the trickle down effect that will have is not just policing streets, it's not just answering fire calls, it's not just EMS. It is our children. It is, the trickle down effect is larger than people realize. And that's all I'm getting. That's all I'm trying to get across. I'm not criticizing the Seaway Festival, or I want to be able to provide all of that.
Well, that's why I say we have to work as a community.
I agree.
And I'll tell you this, like last year after the craft show and after the Battle of Bands, I couldn't walk for a week. Okay. But I'm willing to give up that for this community. And I mean, and that's what it takes. It takes sometimes going without, I mean, for the kids. Right now, our kids are our biggest export.
Oh, I'm where I volunteer countless hours coaching and trying to, develop programs that, keep our children that are located in the North Country that are sometimes at a disadvantage just based on our location to create, competitive programming. So when the outreach that they can have, if they want to utilize different programs, or when they get up to the modified and represent our school on a totally different facet, they're able to compete. I mean.
Well, okay, I know you're still young. Okay. Remember when the Battle of Bands, when we had the chaparrals and the Rothels, and we had boat races and everything?
I think that was before my time.
Thanks a lot. I'll go get my depends, okay? But anyway, I mean, just imagine Ogdensburg without the Seaway Festival.
I can't. I'm like I said, since I was a kid, I mean, I think my family sat the same corner for, I don't know, I'm 36, so 36 years.
Well.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there any type of a projection as to how much money, how much revenue the Seaway Festival gives to Ogdensburg?
Okay.
I mean, these guys are supposed to be smart and should have the projections as to where the revenue is coming from. The Seaway Festival, in my estimation, would be a big part of it.
I totally agree, but what I like everybody to understand is, okay, right now we have four people that run everything.
But it really,
Okay.
it really doesn't matter. I've been here since the Seaway Festival. My father was a parade marshal in the Seaway Festival for over 20 years. I know what the Seaway Festival was, but somebody should know how much it is to Ogdensburg. Whether it's to the community, whether it's to the merchants, whether it's just to a good time.
How about
Somebody should be able to put it to a dollar and cents estimate.
when you figure something like that in, sir, do you want to throw in the family reunions? Do you want to throw in class reunions? And it just makes a lot of money. I mean,
But
but
when you talk about what? Two people? Is that what you're talking about? Two people from the city?
well, on certain things, one person.
One person?
Okay.
It seems like an easy push to me. Did I get
Well, that's why I came in here and said even though we don't want money, we just need the manpower. And even though the manpower still costs money.
you bringing money to the city?
Yes, sir. This is the vice president. Okay, Laura Lee Rothel. I think 99.9% you know her. Okay, we're here for the community. And, it'd be nice if we could afford bookkeepers and stuff like that. But I mean, this is a hometown group doing something for the hometown. Laura Lee, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Good evening.
Amen.
I'm a little late. I was at the First Presbyterian Church at the concert where Rhonda is
Oh,
tonight.
okay. Were you singing tonight with Rhonda or were you just a spectator?
I'm a spectator.
I didn't know if maybe you were going to get up and do a rendition for us.
I suppose I could. She has a couple of ideas that we're working on for next year. And as you know, last year we had some new events and they had the ship that came in. Fortunately, the ship won't be available next year, but Rhonda's been in communication with Theodore the Tugboat to see if we can get him here. But we also have something that I'm not sure Ogdensburg knows. The Ogdensburg Free Academy has a pumpkin chunking team. Okay.
A pumpkin chunking. We actually won an award in Clayton not too long ago.
That's one of the 5 events.
So
What are we chunking?
pumpkins into the river.
Oh.
Like they do in Clayton, and it's a
Yep.
very, very big part. So we might try to combine that with maybe like an Oktoberfest type thing, or maybe bootleggers, or try to, whatever we can do to bring people to the community. I'm not sure if you know this or not, but at the craft show, I did a poll of the vendors that we just had at a recent craft show. The city's portion of sales tax money directly to the city, okay, was about $4,800. That's your share. So the state gets, the same amount, but I mean, that's pretty good for for 5-6 hours worth of stuff to bring people into the community. And they also went, and I'm sure they shopped, and they went different places. So we try not to take from the community. We try to do things to bring people, because the more people that we can get to come to the community are going to make the businesses are going to be more successful. And obviously we're going to bring in more sales tax dollars, which is our goal, to make the community a destination, because we have the most beautiful riverfront along the whole north coast. We have it. So we need to showcase it and do that. So, I mean, I've been volunteering for the Seaway Festival for, 40 some years.
Don't date yourself.
A couple years. And, I'll continue to do as long as I can. But whatever we can do for the community is why we're here. And we're trying not to ask much. I mean, I understand manpower, everything costs. There's a cost to everything. But I want you to know in your hearts that we're doing it so that the more people we bring to the community, the more all of you are going to benefit. And, you know, we have to make us a destination. That's what we need to do. Make people want to come and spend their money. And if we can split it up throughout the year and do different events during different times, you can target different people. I mean, I have the Great Lakes Lighthouse Keepers Association, and they do bus tours, and I brought 100 people here the last time that they came. 2 busloads of people came. They stayed, we had dinner at the Grandview. They got boxed lunches from Philip Steiner. We got stuff from Price Chopper to send them on their way. They visited around, they went to the Remington Museum. I sent them over to Pickens Hall. We did the whole tour of, you know, of the area. So, and that's only just one person making one contact, bringing one group in.
To give you an idea on that Saturday, we had people from, you're kind of laugh at this during the snowstorm, people from Syracuse, Alaska, Chateaugay, and Vermont here. And the first words I said, I was nuts. Okay.
We had over 1,000 people paid through the door in a blizzard.
It was a great event. It was well laid out.
So,
And it
you
was
know,
easily accessible.
that's what we want to do. We want to help. So that's,
We already started working on next year.
okay. Is that good?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any questions?
Thanks for everything.
Where did I get, what I did was I went to the different vendors. I saw how much money that they told me that they had earned. And I know what the percentage is because I have a business. So it's half.
So just to kind of wrap up our outside agencies, several agencies did not specify an amount that they're requesting, but for anybody who is keeping track, the Ogdensburg Chamber of Commerce requested $7,500. The Garden Club requested $2,000. The Julie Madlin on behalf of the Historic Commission, the Ogdensburg History Museum, and the historian requested $19,335. Pride and Beautification has requested $5,000, which would be an add of $3,000 from the $2,000 in the budget. And Forsyth Rifles has requested $100. So in total, the financial contributions that were specified this evening amounts to $31,935. And there were several organizations that did not specify an amount, but I'm guessing are still looking for support.
31 what?
$31,935
That's what they're requesting.
for those that specified a dollar amount.
Right.
So if anybody's here and wants to specify a dollar amount, speak now. So that concludes our outside agencies, those that responded and those that are here this evening. Thanks for joining us for budget session number 5. We do have a regular council meeting to review the budget on December 12th. So thank you.